and I'll say this from experience, and there's a reason why I've left certain progressive circles that I've been highly involved in. We cannibalize ourselves all the fucking time. All the time. And I witnessed it firsthand. And whether you're friends with them or agree with them, it doesn't matter. I probably would agree with the 99% of what Kenzie has to say about the patriarchy and about society in general. But these fucking left-wing purity tests, and I get it. If you're on a panel, you kind of put yourself out there and you have to. If you're on a panel, you kind of put yourself out there and you have to. And when they see in a public setting, in a public forum, that we are not united and that we do not have each other's back, or that we want to pick apart and deconstruct whatever it is that, like, that is ammunition to the right. And I'm in the fight against the right. I don't know about you guys. Fuck the right. I've been saying fuck the right for 30 plus years now, and I'm tired of the fucking left.
I'm going to say hold on, Allison. Sorry, quickly. I'm going to do some mod duty. Can we tap the screen, share the live, give the panel, do the shit you know how to do, please? I know, Jody. Shh, you be quiet. Do the things y'all know how to do for Jody. Please love her.
I know,
okay,
but
Allison,
I just don't want to. It's not what this is for right now, but I appreciate you so much.
Whatever.
I do. I know. I appreciate you. You mean well. Allison, go ahead. Sorry. Allison.
We're just here again. Yeah, yes, I guess, and I've been hearing, I got a few messages that, as being discussed, and I guess I'm not here to fight either necessarily. Like, I'm not here to call you a misogynist either, but I would call myself like a leftist for sure. So what my problem was especially is that, and I heard you say it, is that it's hard to call out the people you love, and I like totally hear you on that. But then to still kind of come up here and say that, I guess, what am I unjust in?
So I think and it was a combination of a couple things, because I think you and Olive had come up like right around the same time. Before this, for the last 16 hours, this conversation had been ongoing. And not only that, I went on Mojo's panel where he had the background of it's all women until no women. I literally fought every single person in that crowd. I cried, I think, at one point. It was in the middle of the night. I was tired. And
but
I was
why are you doing that to yourself?
No, I know. No, because I care about them. And I think here's the problem. Because day in and day out, they are great people in the actions that they take against misogyny. If men are interrupting me or are not hearing what I'm saying, they're like, you literally didn't even listen to her. They will correct them.
Do you have to take for them to see you as better?
Hold on just 1 second.
Okay.
And then additionally, so with the conversation that had been going on for 16 hours is not necessarily that they're not at all that they're against the message. They're against the messaging. And so they're asking like why we're doing that. They were on the live because they respect our voices and they wanted to have a conversation. Like if they didn't give a fuck and we're just like, you guys are stupid and this is dumb, they wouldn't have had that. This is not about you, Brad, especially.
But the conversation I came up on was about them trying to organize and help other men in this. So it just sounds like they're not even at a point to have that conversation either. So that actually just makes it worse. Like, then you definitely have to see where I'm coming from.
I was getting frustrated because I kept asking. I said, all right, let's turn this into action. So you guys open up a panel. Let's do that. And let's listen to the men deconstruct other red pill men. Like, how would you do it better than we're doing it? Because I don't believe they can. And I think they'll meet the same frustration we do. So Allison, I know we kind of got
that
started.
Something that people want to do. That is something that men want to do. But in even just trying to plan that out and say maybe that is something that we should do, I witness people get attacked over it and be like, no, this isn't. So it's like we're being pulled in two different directions. Do you want us to be allies and to call out men
that goes back to my original intent.
Advocate. Hold on. Let me just land.
Okay.
I do it all the time with my friends. The majority of my friends are fucking right-leaning in some way or another, and I'm that fucking crazy lefty friend that calls them out on their bullshit. It started with back in university. It's like, don't call women bitches. Don't, right? Like, as simple as something like that, right? But you do it in your locker room talking. You have to be that voice of reason. But at the same time, you can be a fucking man's man and some other things that have nothing to do with women that we talk about, where I can hold a conversation with men. It's important to have allies within those circles to fucking call men out. And if we want to have a panel or we want to discuss it and say, like, listen, I'll be honest. The message to me doesn't fucking bother me. I didn't get a chance to get on those panels. It doesn't bother me at all because I understand if you're not.
It has nothing to do with my intent, though. So who are you talking to?
I'm talking.
Because I did come up there with actionable items and plans, because this must not be about me. So who's it
This is
about?
the point.
No, it's not about. I didn't say it was about you.
Okay,
No,
well,
it's
I mean,
not,
so
it's
I'm
not.
coming up here directly to address CS, right? And so that's,
Oh,
I guess
all right,
I'm
well, then,
confused. Was that
sorry if I
related or
got
just a
into-
side
sorry,
comment?
Sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
I don't think
Okay,
you
I was just confused. Okay.
I don't know. I also appreciate the things that Civics brings to the table too. So I don't know if you want to call me Miss Andrews.
I guess I was just confused on the intention of saying all this. I mean, I agree. Like, I mean, no, for sure. I don't want to like push people away from helping either, but we also should not be promoting them to be teaching others when they don't really know themselves. Like, I'm sorry to hear Brad say that he's an ally because his job is to be an advocate. Like, he's dealing, yeah, absolutely. He sees the after effects for sure of toxic masculinity, but what does he know about before?
Yeah, and I would have loved that these questions would have been asked, you know, like you and Brad could have had this conversation. It just seemed like, and again, I don't think it was necessarily just you. I think it was a combination of things that had happened in that given point. There wasn't a lot of curiosity. There was a lot of yelling and a confidence.
I think you're wrong, though.
Messica.
I think you're wrong, though.
Messica.
Come up with constructive criticism on the conversation. Like, I don't know what we have to like.
Yeah,
what
I
do
was
we
going
have
to
to
say,
have on
Allison,
that?
you did. I'm kind of in opposition as it relates to Allison, because when she came up, she immediately started asking questions. Like, she was inquisitive, and she even said, like, I don't know what I did wrong. Like, I'm confused. And she wasn't dropped. She dropped herself because she felt like she wasn't being heard. You know what I mean? And then she didn't even say anything in the comments other than she came up and explained herself to Brad after the fact. But then, you know, we also thereafter got dropped shortly after, so she really didn't get to say a whole lot. But the point is that, like, she did come up inquisitively, and I felt, and others did feel the same way too, that they sort of shut that down. They didn't like that she was coming in asking all these questions. It was I think they felt interrogated rather than being open to answering things. So I mean, it is hard, CS, because like, how do you what's the right answer then if she's not doing the right thing? And I feel like the only thing people they were really listening to was us. Like, and honestly, I don't even really get listened to that much either. And Bon usually
And I appreciate it, because that's why, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt people, but that's why I always want to keep stopping, because like my intention was not to come up there and just be like, well, you guys suck, you guys are misogynists. Like, no, I was just like, this is the wrong direction, and like, this is why this is a problem. And should have been, if they were deconstructive enough, it should have been a moment of self-reflection of, oh, okay, maybe we aren't doing that, and like, or this is why we're talking about this right now. You know what I'm saying? And that was not done.
And Allison, just so you know, I'm with you here, okay? Like, I don't think that you owed, did you come in and behave in a very friendly way? No, but that's not your burden, particularly given that you do not know most of these individuals.
But then how did I come in? Because I think that's the problem too, is like, you guys are assuming my emotion and how I came in. I had literally just woken up. I was new.
Get that
Look,
vibe, Allison.
I'm not assuming anything. All I'm saying here is that, like, you just didn't come in and like start hand holding and you basically just went right for the meat of the argument, and you didn't, kind of litigate any feelings. And I think that's okay. I think a lot of people are conflating that for being like, intrusive or rude. And I think that that's dead wrong. I'm straight up defending you, like, on this one, Allison. And kind of to like what CS has been saying, I get your perspective too, but CS, I think in the end, the onus of like gentility and perhaps delivering the message a little bit more softly are on people like you and those of us who are a little bit more familiar with Mojo and Brad, etc. Like, because we have those relationships, and not even really myself, because again, although I'm around a lot, I barely panel with them even, right? So like,
because what they did, and I'm sorry to interrupt, we got it.
Okay.
What you did was you defended them for them. I wanted to hear that they understand that they have to continue to deconstruct every day. That's what I was hoping to hear from my question. That's where I was trying to understand where we're at in this process. And I'm so sorry, like, I don't know where you're at in your own process either, but for you to like sit up there and be like, well, no, they're actually good still because they're trying. Like, okay, well, I mean,
no, it's not.
doesn't mean
It's
that
not
this
specifically
conversation
just
can be
because they're
redirected.
trying in this conversation. It's because I have verifiably observed them over
Okay,
and over
I have
again
as well,
stand on the
Taffy.
right side of
I used to
ideology
compete in
about other
women's
topics.
esports. Okay, I used to compete in women's esports. I fucking get it. Like, I actually am. So I'm a masked lesbian, and so just like you're a gay man, I also kind of experienced that weird flip flop. So I get it. A lot of men like to open up to me. Like, I'm not. This isn't foreign to any woman either. And that's also the weird thing. I don't get why you guys think that only men can understand why it's a problem for men. Actually, this is so much historical.
Don't say you guys to me. Don't say it to me. Not me,
Okay,
Allison.
I mean, I don't know. It's just I'm
not
kind of. I heard that in the panel, and I just don't know why we would even want to try to agree with that.
I think.
I mean,
Allison,
I'm not so. Actually, I'm not going to speak here. Somebody else respond.
No, and I just want to go back because I honestly, it's a lot emotionally because you can ask anyone on this panel, they like certified crash out. I'm a fucking certified crash out on anyone that hints at any kind of anti-feminism talk. I like that's who I am as a person, or anyone that's spewing any kind of hate.
And there's wine involved.
Yeah, exactly. So I honestly
What
like
witnessed was
have
a men need to say woman.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Sorry, and so let me maybe this is helpful too. That those 20 minutes I was like hearing and not like hearing any woman speak. In fact, I even heard it was even you that was trying to speak, and they wouldn't let you speak. What I was hearing was a savior complex, low key. Like I was hearing Brad be like, "Well, yeah, I'm an advocate, you know, so therefore I know everything," or like, you know, and like that's great. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not harping on that, but like, I'm seeing it as like, oh, well, we give women all these things, we give them, you know, the right to vote and everything, and I think that they're still seeing this as, well, we have to give them their right, you know, their respect, right? So we have to talk to other men to be like, okay, go give them respect. Like, no, that's like so that was my perception, and I think that's just incorrect. I think as a masked woman, I think I definitely like see a little bit like a weird perspective. I because I'm kind like, I don't know, there's a weird involvement with that, but yeah, I don't think it's like that.
There is also parallels, right? So like this conversation we're having about people's intentions, I don't doubt, like if I'm being so honest, personally, the people that were on the men that were on that panel today, I would consider maybe one or two of them allies, and it's not most of the people that we are defending right now. But these parallels, that doesn't make them bad people, right? It just means that I see the inconsistency. So when Brad's mods, even though it is not Brad, but it is an extension of his space, when they mute Allison, but they don't mute people who are literally in the comments talking about, I believe women are subservient to men, like whether they're trolls or whether they're like real MAGA from other
too, girlfriend.
I know, we're doing the best I could. But to be clear, I never dropped you or muted you, either of you.
Wait, CS, I don't think she was done talking. Sissy, go ahead.
No, just and I'm not like, I don't know who's a mod in Brad's live, and I don't know how that happened, but I'm just saying like the way that we prioritize what can be said in these spaces is also very telling of the spaces we're in. So like when Allison is muted, and then I immediately see 3 comments that are like, you know, calling her a B, or, you know, I think women should be quiet.
That's
XYZ, because they're controlling spaces like this is space that is harmful. This is space that is not safe. There is no way to not be defensive and try to have these conversations calmly when this is the space we are having.
But I would have, if I saw those comments, I would have absolutely muted them.
I muted a few, and I was speaking with Allison like while the live was going, and I'm like, she's like, yo, I was just like muted and blocked. I was like, what the fuck? So I immediately went in and got rid of it. And we had to talk. We talked to Brad about this a couple times because I think Olive was the first. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
And then Olive came up, yeah, and it was me.
Yeah, and I'm like, why is this the response? Like, I'm not understanding this. Like, this is not helpful at all. And to Sissy's point, like, that is what makes the room more defensive, right? That's spreading animosity in that way.
And honestly, just getting my original intention wrong is a root of this problem as well. And that's what I'm going to be so frustrated about. I don't know how long this is going to go on for, but people are just going to be like, well, you came in defensively. Like, no, that wasn't my intention. And I'm so sorry if I came in with a monotone voice like I did. This is just how I talk, you know? But it's like...
You don't have to apologize at all.
I'm like sarcastically apologizing. I'm not actually sorry.
I'm taking it in that you know, there's been a lot of feedback right now saying like, that because I know these people, I'm more willing to defend, which I think there's a lot of truth to that because I do know them day in and day out and I've seen their actions. When I saw Liberal come up and, you know, say the things that he did, I immediately wanted to pounce. And I would say right now, like, I think
good observation, CS. Good reflection. That was
Liberal loudmouth, you said.
Yeah,
CS?
and I'm like, fuck him. But why, you know, I get that. Like, I mean, hold the same energy, but I don't know him. So maybe he otherwise outside
Regardless
of
of your
that.
intention or not, I totally respect what you're saying, and I don't think we have an issue. I think we agree on a lot, truly. I don't think your intention just did not reflect your values, and because with what I saw, I didn't really know how the friendship thing works, but I even see that as maybe even worse because you're defending your loved ones for these actions just because you're working with them, like, and you have a secret space. You're like, no, I got it, you know, like there's other perspectives.
Everett, did you want to chime in?
I just want to respond to that.
Yeah, and then we're gonna go.
And then I'm gonna drop. And I appreciate everyone. You know, I don't always get it right. I just try to lead with my heart. And you know, these people that have been there for me.
I love you, and I think we know the people that care about you know your heart. But just like everybody, like I get this every day, where I get this constructive criticism, and I feel very overwhelmed emotionally because I know my intentions are there. But that doesn't mean just because my intentions are good doesn't mean that I act upon
Yeah, absolutely. But the only thing I can do is like, you know, I don't think I'll ever regret following my heart. I just think if I did something that betrayed like my core values, sure. So like, again, this one's a hard one. But what I wanted to say is if you heard me go after Brad or go after Mojo, I did several times. And it was to attack the basis of their argument, which was that they don't like the messaging.
But then you
And
attacked me for doing the same thing, though. Like, recognize that.
What do you mean? Can you say it again?
I also attacked them for doing the same thing, which is to say they were harping on messaging and how that is received by other men. And yeah, like there's points to this for sure. But once again, it wasn't done very well. So you also say you harped on them before. Well, that's exactly what I came up and did as well. But I was also offering alternative suggestions, like, and that's what I'm just like not. Why is my intention like this? I don't understand why it's perceived like this. I don't get it.
Yeah. And again, I think it was a weird time because you had come up and Olive had come up at the same time. And like, it had turned from kind of the conversation we were having, trying to like have them have another stance. And then there was like a lot of almost contention immediately, and not your fault. I'm not saying it's your fault.
Well, here's the timeline though.
I think it was, go ahead.
I was in there for like about 10 minutes before Olive came up. And I remember because Olive was like hounding me in the comments to like let her up, and I was like, I need to wait for a moment to even ask that. And so it was a good like 10, 15 minutes of just me on that panel until Olive came up. So I guess like, I don't know.
No, there was
I
I don't think that there was a major problem there because I remember you saying that you had just woke up, like you were sleepy, and I was like, oh yeah, she's just getting into the conversation. I don't think there was anything that came up then. My defense of them comes up in the fact that it went from maybe having an argument about how they didn't care for the messaging to them as people and how they advocate. Because I think those are two different things, and so it would be weird to walk into.
You find a productive conversation for them to be questioning messaging about women? I'm just curious.
That is why I argue with them on that basis too. I argue with them on that. I challenge them.
I just still don't understand the defense because it seems like you've also been mad about the same things that I came up and kind of said, and I once again offered an alternative. So it seems like we're upset about the same things. I just don't understand when I did it, and and it's okay if it's like a moment of self-realization. Like, I'm not going to harp on you because it's like people you know, but I basically did the same thing that apparently you have been doing, and I recognize within 20 minutes.
I felt like you went a little bit, and I don't have the specific examples, but how I can tell you what my mindset was at the time was it went from like talking about the messaging and then attacking them like, well, why don't you do this? Or who are you to do this? And it may not have been you. Again, like it was a combination of things that had happened like all at the same time where like the energy was turned up. So no, it's a little bit different, and I'm not blaming you, and I don't think you should have anything to be like to look back on or, you know, feel.
I don't think so either, but we do have to acknowledge that you did push back on me. Like, I mean, that's for sure.
Yes, I acknowledge it 100%.
Well, but
100%.
also a big line of difference here. I would also argue just between the two of you, Allison and CS, is where the real difference here is, though, is Allison, again, while I maintain that you had absolutely no obligation to be white glove with the delivery of your opinion, and I don't think you had any reason to consider any of these men's feelings or kowtow to them in any way whatsoever. I will say, again, as we've already explained, like most of the people that were on that panel, most of the people who are on this panel have a more defined and specific relationship with these guys long before this topic even started getting debated. And a lot of people have seen them prove themselves to be good men in other contexts. But further than that, when I say like where the real difference here is it wasn't just though that you attacked their bad logic. Every single time any of these people, again, people who have additional context than you do about these men, anytime any of us came in to qualify or somewhat defend them to the extent of just saying that they're good men, although they're having a problematic moment right now, you were the first person to jump in at every single turn and condemn someone who defended them in any way. And that's kind of where the difference here is between
I gotta let Everett jump in because I told him he'd be next. Yeah. Now we've gone to a bunch of. Not that I don't appreciate your input, Tapley. You're appreciated.
I feel you. That's it.
Yep, Everett, go ahead, babe.
I only came up to say two things. One, when Nope was talking about people jumping down George's throat yesterday, I was one of them. I did not realize I had come in and out of the live. I was taking care of my kids, and I did not realize that George was someone who just recently understood the message. So he'd already done a whole lot of mental and emotional labor that day, and I treated him like somebody who had already been doing the work. So mea culpa. I did apologize, but I do want to clarify that Nope was absolutely 100% correct. They had to come up, they had to call it out, and they had to correct me, and I took it. Like I fucked up. So so I do want to. I felt like Nope didn't want to drag people's names into it, but I told them. I said, go ahead and name drop me because I know you, Sissy, you and Mookie know me, so you'd understand, and we could have that talk separately. So
that's fine. But
the other thing I wanted to say, and then I really do have to drop because I still have to take care of my kiddos, is the whole reason I find these discussions so off-putting is that I have like 4 rules for allyship, and one of them is to lift the voices of the people I'm talking in advocacy for. And the whole thing about this message, the conversations that we've been having that gives me the ick, is that it feels like I said, it is a lived experience for women. It is, and the men are saying, well, let's tweak the message. That is not a good ally when you say, I know better than you what the message should be. No, that is not my place. I am the guard. Y'all are the quarterbacks in this arena. And if it's your play, I back it. And I find the whole messaging, policing, distasteful. And that's all I wanted to say. But
okay, thank you, Everett.
If we're talking about this,
Sissy, your audio's real bad, girl.
Hey,
sorry,
Jody,
every time I put my phone down,
I'm sorry. I'm going to drop down, but Allison, I sent you a follow. I think you and I will meet on another live someday, and it's going to be really great how we take down the patriarchy. Today wasn't our day, but I do appreciate you, and I understand your position. Sissy, you as well. Sorry if I offended, but
no, you're so good. You're so good.
Yes, thank you. We love you. Okay.
yeah.
Make some space too for somebody.
We love you. Okay.
Yeah.
Make some space too for somebody.
Yes, it's gone, but I just want to super clearly reiterate, I do not think CS is a bad person. And to do the unpacking and realize who they are, but it's also difficult perpetuating patriarchy in order to do your own self-preservation. All these conversations are difficult all around. I don't blame CS for the way she reacted. It was just my observation. But as far as Everett is concerned, if that is the situation that happened with George, and I wasn't there to foresee it, but if Everett is taking onus for it, then I'll take his word at it. But even in that predicament, I still stand by my statement. Receiving you as a threat, and this is similar to the conversation me and CS were just having, If I am perceiving you as a threat, no matter if somebody else in your vicinity knows you are not a threat, if the things that you say make me perceive you as a threat, it is not on me to like feel you out before I react, because that is contradictory to my own self-preservation. So whether or not someone should have jumped down George's throat, how bad it was, I don't know. I wasn't there. But I don't think that it's wrong to walk into a conversation and hear some outlandish shit and point out that it's outlandish.
That's fair. Jody, I got to drop down. Nope, I'm really sorry. First of all, thank you for sharing your story, even though it made you emotional. It made me emotional hearing you be emotional. I'm sorry that
never doing that again.
You kind of had to go through.
Literally never doing that again.
I'm sorry that towards the end you were kind of being attacked, and I don't think they know the severity of the fact that you were up all night fucking debating, probably listening in your sleep on the all night debate, and then this morning. Like I think you're mentally tired, and you're very well entitled to being fucking tired. And I just wanted to say I'm sorry that you had to go through that. But I do have to drop down. Please open up my space for somebody else.
Yeah, love you, Civics.
Love you too, guys.
Yeah, love you, Civics.
Love you too, guys.
Dissected in a very fucked up way over on someone named Ernesto's live.
Ernesto's kind of lit. What do you mean? Ernesto totally gets it.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, they're just over there. Basically,
maybe you should go over to his live and talk to him about it.
I am not interested in entering a space of 400 people who have made up their mind about who I am and what I believe. I have no interest in that.
I don't know what's going on. I've had multiple people send me messages that he had.
They are, Jody, they're saying that every woman who was on the panel, including yourself and CS, are coddling men. Are simping for men, are pick-me's, are men's rights activists. There's a lot of lovely rhetoric going on over there.
Yeah,
so,
I know who I am.
Jody, do you mind if I share a conversation out loud? Because I think it was important, and I really respect and appreciate you even more.
Yeah, absolutely.
For that. I privately messaged Jody after, so what happened? Okay, so like I said, my intention was not to come in there and just be like, all of you guys fucking suck, you know what I'm saying? And that was not what I was trying to do. And my issue was, what I was trying to really get into was that Brad immediately internalized it. And he immediately got defensive with me and started making it like, well, I don't appreciate you saying these things about me, and I don't feel this way, and you don't know what I do. And it's like, well, I mean, those 20, I know that having a long-term relation versus short-term, like both are still pretty impactful. And so no one said anything. And honestly, definitely, I have felt really weird about it all day today. Because it's like, I really wasn't directing that message at anybody in particular. It was just the conversation.
That might have been.
No one said anything. And so I messaged Jody and I was like, I'm not going to lie, dude. Like, I'm a little disappointed that you kind of didn't speak up. And Jody later on did. And I like, honestly, I feel like really took that to heart. And I think Jody, regardless, like, I mean, I understand that she has a totally different relationship with these people than I do, and that's very powerful in this situation. But I do really respect that Jody, instead of being like, well, fuck you, Allison, like, kind of turned around and was like, no, yeah, that was fucked up. You know? Because it was weird.
Yeah, and I said, I mean, I called him out a couple of times about the blocking, and I tried to do it in a way, like, unfortunately, you know, I was given mod powers like 2 hours ago, probably a little more now. And I'm glad that I was, because while I feel like I did probably some things with them that he, you know, didn't probably wouldn't have liked, I was able to unblock Olive. I was able to unblock Allison, unmute them. I was muting people down below that nobody else was seeing that were saying fucking misogynistic, disgusting ass shit. And like, I just want everybody to know, like, for anybody that's listening, I just want everybody to know, like, for anybody that's listening, from when I was nobody, nothing, and not that I'm somebody now, but like, seriously, and I've come at him the fucking hardest, the hardest. And I think it's the people that we're closest with that we have to hold accountable the most. And so, like, you know, I can't control what other people perceive. I know who I am. And that's all I have to say about it. I stand by everything I fucking said in this live. All I did was fucking talk about how wrong it was to continue discussing the messaging, and rather than the issues and coming up with solutions, I brought everybody up that I thought had a great
Jody,
voice, including
Jody,
Kenzie.
they're saying that the message that you have up is fucked up and coddling. Like, it's, I don't know. Like, if,
Well,
if
I'm getting messages right now that are telling me that that's wrong, and that's not what they're saying. So I'm confused.
Okay, whatever.
Okay, hold on. I was over there.
I clearly
watched a
don't
little
know
bit of
what
it.
I'm
I did not
hearing
watch.
and don't know what I'm seeing and have no fucking idea what is happening.
I'm not saying that you do or don't. I'm just telling you I don't know because I'm live right now, so I can't see anything or hear anything.
Yeah. It's fine. I don't fucking care at this point. Like, if this is how y'all want to try to have these conversations, like, I'm not really interested in being a part of it. I enjoyed.
Can I just ask what the pushback is?
Have the conversations the way you want to have them. That's perfectly fine. I don't think anybody's.
So, for context, like, this whole thing started, like, because I had a 1v1 debate with Cringy, me supporting the phrase all men until no men, which I do 100% support, and I think it is a useful rhetorical tool. And my only criticism of this has been, if we're going to use something as a rhetorical tool that is designed to incite, like, you know, in people who need to do the work, it's going to incite a defensive response. It's going to incite some sort of negative response, right?
Yeah, right.
That,
I know
and that's how we're
your
trying
position. Right, I know that position, and that's fine for you to have that position, but I don't think it's right for you to be able to, like, have other people believe the idea.
I don't know the
not
position.
everybody believes that same concept, and that's fine. So
I
if
didn't even get to finish my position, and this is the whole fucking point I was trying to make, is that we assume people's positions before we actually fucking listen to them in full, and we
Well, I
cut them
heard you
off,
on the other
and we
live.
and we
It's
tell them,
wrong. I know.
you think this,
But
you feel this
I
way.
don't know.
Okay, like, I have been watching these conversations and listening very closely. As someone who is, like, a fucking feminist, I see issues I see way more issues with the way that men are going about these conversations, to be so fucking clear. But if we are going to say, all right, here's a difficult thing for you to address, I would like to address it with you in this conversation. To me, it is like, it's basically setting a trap to be like, oh, but I'm also going to, like, target you specifically and not start talking about things generally and ask you if you want to talk about things personally first. I'm sorry, Allison.
Can you explain what that looks like? Because as I tried to, like, say in the other live, I don't see that happening. So, like, when for example, if we're on Brad's live and Brad said, like, is like, yes, I agree with this messaging, and we're talking about the messaging in a general sense, and then Brad says something that is counterproductive to the base of the messaging, and I point it out, am I now personally attacking Brad because I'm holding him accountable?
No,
Because
but
that's
when
the
you
only
say
which I've seen
this has to
people
be a
do.
defense for some sort of other behavior. This has to be, like, you protecting yourself in advance from accusations. Like, I don't remember the exact phrasing of what was said. I am so fucking sorry, but I'm not just clocking this out of nowhere. I'm not just, like, I fucking hate Mojo right now, y'all, over this topic. Like, I do not want to be defending him. I am mad as fuck at him. I'm so fucking angry at him.
Can I ask?
I'm so fucking angry at him.
Can I ask?
I mean,
See the reasons it doesn't work, and maybe that's me, like, wanting to put forth a little extra effort to get through to someone who, like, has a platform that a lot of people I know spend time on. I don't fucking spend time there anymore because of this, to be clear. I have a hard line in the sand that even a lot of people don't fucking have. I'm not saying they need to, but, like,
oh, so sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. You keep pausing, so I think you're done. But no, I'm just wondering. So you're essentially saying that since the message of "it's all men till it's no men" can incite a emotional response in men by nature, that we should not be surprised that when they have that emotional response, and we should be able to, like, come with them, like, meet them where they are.
It's not even that. I'm not even saying that. I'm saying, like, if that challenge exists already, can we not add more challenges by assuming their positions, assuming their behavior, assuming what they think and feel? because
And sorry, you keep pausing, similar to Nicole.
Right. So, like, you don't want us to.
No. I want her to finish. I cut her off. I thought she was done.
I'm done enough. Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm so sorry. I wasn't trying to interrupt anything. I'm trying to understand your framework here, because it's not an example that I can see. So I'm trying to understand better. So you're saying essentially that when they are met with that emotional response, you don't want us to assume their positions in anything?
No, I just like in general, when you enter into a conversation, whether the man is being like, I don't agree or I don't understand, like, don't assume the why behind why they don't agree or don't understand. Ask them about it.
Sure.
And you think that was a space to be able to do so? I mean, I tried. I mean, I don't know, like, that's what I
Not what I
tried to ask
witnessed,
questions.
but okay.
Not
what I witnessed, but okay.
Can be from specific. Can be from specific.
I don't necessarily think that you are opening the door for a conversation if you're presenting them with a phrase that's already putting them on the defensive, and then you're also like, but you also have this specific thing going on. Like, we can talk generally about things and then narrow down into the personal if that's something that they're willing to do. Not all men are willing to do that in public. And, like, is that part of toxic masculinity and patriarchy? Should it be dismantled? Sure. Can we do all of this work at the exact same time? I don't personally think so.
And I mean, but my point.
Fair, that's fair, but
if I could just
for
finish.
that,
Wait, Sissy, just one quick. I just want to finish this. My original point was the fact that takes a lot of emotional labor as well as the woman, and I feel like not every woman wants to have those types of conversations, which is what I was saying. Like, if you want to do that, if that's something that you are able to do and you want to do in these conversations, I feel like that's perfectly fine. But to not allow women to respond to misogyny their own way, I feel like it's kind of trying to control their.
Can I ask, like, at what point I had told other people what they should or should not do? I simply said, like, if we want to have these kinds of conversations where we are opening doors and changing minds and, like, encouraging discourse between people who don't understand, who aren't already there, who aren't already, like, the perfect feminist ally. Like, if we want to do that, this is what I think would be more effective. At no point was I was like, y'all can't do this, you need to do this. Like, don't do this on this panel. I never said any of that shit.
The problem in that is that, first of all, there was no clear example as to what you were like. That's partly why the live ended, is because we were trying so hard to understand where you were coming from, and there was not a lot of clarity.
Okay, so the live ended because of me. Is that what you're saying?
That's not what I'm saying, and I really wish that you would like I'm being super concise in what I'm saying. I said the live ended because we were trying to figure out what you were saying, and there was not a lot of clarity. This is not me jabbing at you. This is saying nobody was clear about what was happening, and it became unproductive. This is not a specific jab at you are unproductive. That is what I just said. So that is besides the point that I'm making, right? So no one is saying that you cannot critique the way that other people are participating in this movement. Obviously, we've been up for hours critiquing people. Like, it's silly for me to say that you are the only one who is removed from this. But when we are critiquing people, it is important to have, like, the examples for it, or no one really knows where they're going wrong and the conclusion continues. So, or the confusion continues. So when I'm like, for you to say that, like, we're having these hard conversations, in essence, make you defensive. I think that is assuming people's position. I think that this is a factual place for me to come to. If I say this and your interpretation of it is, well, you hate all men, or, you know, not all men do this, or what about me? This is you showing me the internalized misogyny. Whether you understand, whether you understand that
Internalized misogyny because we all grow up in a patriarchal society.
I'm not denying that. Like, no, this is the exact. I deny that I have internalized misogyny. At what point did you ask me?
No, I'm sorry. Sorry, I just made a side comment. Sorry.
We're just talking general terms. Like,
so when you use the word "you" when you're responding to someone, that's not generalized. I'm sorry, that's not the use of language if you think that's generalized.
So then maybe you just weren't following what I was saying, because I specifically said when I go into conversations with men about these things. So again, and I preface this by saying, let me know if this is unclear. So I feel like you're committed to like misrepresenting what I'm saying, and that's fine. Like, I know you've been up for a long time. I'm not jabbing at you. It's like, maybe this is not the best time to have this conversation, but I really feel like you're misrepresenting what I'm saying because of the last live.
I mean, are you not saying that I am demonstrating internalized misogyny right now? Is that not?
No, that's literally not what I said at all. I was not speaking about you at all.
Oh, the use of the word "you" instead of "one." Okay.
All right.
My interpretation.
So, I guess my suggestion and the core of my suggestion at the start was just like, if you would like to avoid that misunderstanding and that misinterpretation, like, choose different words.
So I don't know how clear I can be. So
don't say "you."
I wasn't. If I say "you" and I'm using it in exemplary language, then like if I preface that this is an example and it's general, I don't know how much clearer I can be in that.
One, you can use the word "one."
Someone.
Yeah, it's just it can be confusing.
But like I'm clearly just confused about everything and like have no idea what's happening. So,
if one were to do this, if one were to eat a booger, I don't know. Not if you were to, but if one were to. That's usually the confusion can happen there. It feels like that's what this one's about. Honestly,
I mean,
and okay, what do you like? Would you like me to get into? Sorry, go ahead.
I mean, I wasn't even referencing Nope when I said it. Like there was no, but that's fine. So like if I'm not representing it well, then someone else can do it.
I think that it's just been very general.
Can I give the specific example so y'all can stop pretending that like I'm just imagining things?
Nobody said that. I don't think anybody said that.
Okay.
I'm getting the vibe that we might need to just table because I feel like this is not productive. I would honestly rather focus on than like coming at each other. I really, really want to focus on the men. And that sounded so bad after all of this. But I mean, like, I want to focus on how they were not listening to us, and the whole live was pretty exemplary of missing the point. Well, go ahead. What did I say? I just want to talk about solutions. I want to talk about why this is a problem, why we have the messaging in the first place. I guess that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I could address that actually because
Jody, just drop me. I'm fucking over this.
I mean, if you have more to say, Nope, I don't want to.
I mean, I have a whole list of solutions that I've referenced and
I know you do.
Fucking circled back to like in all of these conversations.
That doesn't mean that I said that had nothing to do with you, Nope.
No, like I understand, but the reason we haven't gotten to that part of the conversation, Jody, is because of all of this shit.
Well, and that's why I'm trying to sort of put an end to it so that we can move to the solution part of the fucking conversation, because I think it's important. I think that we haven't focused on that.
Okay, let me just do this. Sissy, I am sorry if I misinterpreted your words. Again, I think it is confusing. If I misinterpreted your words, again, I think it is confusing when you use. So fucking be it. I'm sorry that I messed up. I mean, you clearly do not have a place in this conversation right now. Y'all can continue dragging me in my absence. Please drop.
No, that's not what's going to happen on my live. That's not. Jody, I'll talk to you later. Okay, you guys are all talking at the same time. Nope. If you would like to leave, let me know, and I can drop you.
You know, if I asked to
I
be
got
dropped,
you.
you know, if I asked to
I
be
got
dropped,
you.
I want to leave.
Yep.
Thank
No, it's fine. I was just also offering to leave because like
Okay,
that
we're
was
talking over each other again, you guys. Sissy, I don't know if you have a delay or something because you keep you showing bars. That might be part of the issue, but it's a little hard to hear you again.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's just really quiet and muffled. Yeah, it's just really quiet and muffled. Started talking, and I have a feeling you're either being. It's hard to hear you, or yeah, maybe you can't hear super well, or you have a delay. But just go ahead since you have the floor. Go ahead.
I mean, I was just also offering to dip. Like she does not owe me an apology. I wasn't trying to be condescending. So like, if this is not a good time, then fine. But she has already left. So.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, Sissy, I like you here. I don't want to hold anybody captive, obviously, or hostage in this live. I wanted to do this live because I felt like we needed to be able to have a discussion amongst each other and kind of decompress from what just happened, because this has been a lot for everyone. And I want to give us an option to kind of discuss it without like feeling like we have to defend the messaging, rather just talking about what happened and moving forward, what better we can do. That's kind of where I'm at. But I mean, if you guys, I want to hear everybody's thoughts. That's all.
So I wanted to say that one of the things that really bothers me about this conversation in general is that men act like we haven't been saying these things for generations after generations, right? Like they say that like we need to placate our words so that like it's more nicer for men to hear, and that hasn't been working. I feel like after generations of us trying to have men stop killing us, and, unaliving us and everything, like I feel like it's not working. And so if they are afraid of 3 words, I don't see why the issue is actually an issue. On top of that, I also think that like the police toning, the toning of like our
tone policing.
Yeah, the policing of our tone and everything is just like kind of crazy. And this kind of like, we need to placate them. It happens all the time, right? Like we have to make sure that we say thank you and like be kind and courteous to them. Like when we are in dangerous situations, we always have to make sure that we're, nice and stuff to make sure that they don't hurt us. And so it's just another way for them to kind of control the talk. Of us trying to be nice and placate for them. And I think that that's really problematic and feeds into the misogyny when we actually are trying to step away from it.
Fair.
Can I go back to what just happened with Nope and Sissy quickly, because I feel it's important to not gloss over that.
I will say, Mookie, I do feel a little uncomfortable about talking about it if Nope is not here. I want to be respectful to all parties, but if you have a more general statement on it, then that's fine.
Yes, it is a quick general statement, and it is relevant to the rest of the panel as well, because I just want to be clear that I was listening through that whole time, and I know I'm not the only one who heard this, but Sissy was very clearly responding to like the conversation around Sissy responded with, when I'm talking to men on these lives, if they tell me that they don't know that this is going on, that is an example of their internalized misogyny. So if you say that, meaning the men, right, like this was a pronoun that had been put in place when the proper noun was already used. So what happened was that she was misheard. She was misunderstood. It wasn't that like she was using a general you and it should have been one. Like in that scenario, one didn't would not have been appropriate because she already used the proper noun, right? So we all generalize you. Like if you do this and we all mean one, this is why like most of us understood what she was saying. So this was not an example of like a misusage of a pronoun. No one generally goes around saying when one has an issue with a thing, we say when you have an issue with something, you tell someone. And we know that I know that you're not saying me specifically, you're saying you generally. Right. And I have an issue with the fact that the only thing I heard from the rest of the panel was, yeah, Sissy, like one can be confusing and you can say one instead. And no one was like, well, I heard the sequence of sentences that she said. I understood that. Maybe you just misheard her. And I also want to name that Sissy's the only Black person on this panel, only Black woman on this panel, and these are the kinds of reasons why Black women don't speak.
I'm Black too.
Oh, okay.
Red DeFilt is also Black.
Who is?
Rachel.
Yeah. So yeah, Sissy's. Yeah. So these are parts of why Black women don't speak in spaces is because like when something is very clearly being misconstrued, like. No one's saying anything to that effect. We're saying, yeah, well, you could have said it differently, as opposed to, I heard it this way. This one person didn't. Maybe they misunderstood.
That's fair.
I'm sorry. I actually said that. I said that it was a generalized statement. Maybe it was misheard or something, but I did say
Nicole, I'm totally 100% not addressing you. You should. You okay? Oh no. Sorry, we're cleaning up after the dogs. You should, I'm totally 100% not talking to you.
But you were saying that nobody on the panel said anything, so I'm sorry.
Yeah, I didn't. I heard whoever was up here saying, I wasn't looking, so I don't know exactly what their name was.
Yeah, so all it was is, I'll just clear it up really quick, Mookie.
Mm-hmm.
So Sissy said it, and then I think Pierre had chimed in and just was trying to add some context to say, yeah, we could use one instead. And that's all I heard.
Yeah.
And I heard a lot of silence. I didn't really hear anyone being like, well, no, I understood what Sissy was saying, or like, well, she prefaced it with like specifically talking about the men, so I understand why, like, I understand the sequence of, yeah.
No,
I heard a lot of silence.
No, I hear you on that. I think my silence is just trying to understand everybody. There's a lot happening right now. For me, I can only speak for myself. And that I think in the context in which they were having a conversation back and forth, that might have been part of the confusion, is because like they were going back and forth together. And then,
I direct address of you.
But I understand. I do understand.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. Then I'm super comfortable. Like amending what I said and being like, I'm speaking directly to the person who exclusively said you should have switched it. You could have said one instead of you, and like did not say anything to the person that was the only person that was misunderstanding. And yeah, like the silence after they were done exchanging, there was like 7 seconds where like no one said anything. That would have been a perfect opportunity for someone else to pipe in and say, I didn't misunderstand this. There was like a clear sequence of like who she was speaking about.
Sure. And I understand it, especially in the context of like Black women voices. I do try to be cognizant of that. Admittedly, right now,
I appreciate that.
No. Yeah, totally. I'm hearing you on that. So, and I definitely recall the 7 seconds or roughly of that silence, and I totally get that, and I did hear it, and I'm honestly very fatigued right now, emotionally, mentally drained, because I've been live for a long time, whether it be this one or the other one, and it doesn't matter. So I will do my best to keep a lookout for that, and try to support wherever I can, though, because I do hear you on that, and that is a problem.
Thank you. That was all. Oh, hang on, sorry, I got some background noise. Yeah, that was all I came up to say, because Sissy was on an island as far as that, and that was not cool with me. So thank you.
Yeah, of course. And I don't want anybody, Sissy or anyone else to feel alienated in any way.
Well, I totally agree, though. I mean, it's not even feeling, but like factually, like Sissy did make like actual like, constructive points once again that just were not responded to in the right way. And once again, like the intention was misread. And no, that definitely could have been a time, even for myself to speak up. And yeah, no, you're totally right. And I think it's important to acknowledge that. I really do think it's important to acknowledge that.
Yeah.
So thank you.
I mean, I'm actively learning every single day. Like, this is not, something that is just like, I'm good now, like I'm actively working on this every day. And I wanted to hold this panel after that because I wanted to focus more on us and how we felt about what happened and what we think we can do. Like when we're hearing all of this stuff from them, that's what I want to do because.
And this repetition of us not speaking out is a kind of a common theme today. And I think that like, maybe that's where we can like, I think that's where we can work as well. Like why, I don't know why I didn't say something like genuinely, like I heard it and I obviously didn't fucking agree. I don't know, and I was just like, wow, Sissy's eating, but I don't know. Definitely could have been a time for me to fucking voice my support. But I think like this is important. Like, why aren't we clocking this shit? And I don't know. We need to be clocking it.
Agree. I totally agree. Like I said, I slightly blame it on I'm like very, but I'm fucking fried, dude. Like I'm not kidding. I am, and I'm not trying to make that as an excuse at all. Because it is an issue and it needs to be something that, especially like as a host, I need to be clocking for sure.
Yeah, and this person then like left, right, and was like, I'm being attacked, you're saying I'm this, and then now like the narrative that persisted in the absence of me coming here and saying this was like, this person was attacked because something was said and like they left and like all this stuff. And these are all things that harm Black women. These are all like, I'm not saying that anyone explicitly said that. I'm saying that the response and all that.
There was also when Nope came up, they were talking about Ernesto as well and their live and like the way that the live ended with Brad. And that they felt attacked there. So I don't think this was exclusively a Sissy thing. In fairness, but I
agreed. Yeah, agreed. I'm just speaking to like that's what kind of ended the interaction. That and sometimes that can hold a lot of weight. But thank you for the acknowledgement. Thank you for letting me come up, and I'm gonna keep being busy over here and hang out in the chat.
Okay, hon. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you for hosting this space.
Yes. Have a good day, and you can come back. I'm sure I'll be up. Just unwinding over this.
Also, please like drink some water and like eat something.
I have been drinking water. I'm seriously emotionally and mentally very fried, but I do think it's important to like have this space for you guys and for myself because I really am disheartened by what's happened over the last days, hours. I really am. I really, really am, and I have so many thoughts in my brain and how I want to like handle this moving forward with those individuals and also just generally speaking. And I'm just kind of trying to listen and understand and gather myself. And yeah, so anyways, that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah, totally. I hear you.
All right.
Take care. We'll keep
Thank
talking.
you. Yes, please. Bye.
And I thank you, Mookie, for bringing that up because I apologize. I want to just say that, Sissy, because like if I should have said something too.
Me too, Sissy.
I appreciate it. I get it. I know everybody is tired. I know this is a hard conversation, but I do appreciate the acknowledgement because I thought that I was being super clear. So like, I appreciate that.
Yeah, you absolutely were being super fair. And see, in my eyes, that was obvious to me, I think. So that's why I also didn't say anything. I just kind of knew Nope was getting cooked, but like, I guess not everybody feels that way. And I kind of forgot that. Because anyways, yeah.
It was just.
I think these are hard conversations. These are really.
I think these are really hard, and I think also like I do want to say in Nope's defense, because Nope literally fought like for this. Sissy, I think you know because you saw the live last night, the debate. But like she's been studying for this like for a while, and then did this like 1v1 against Cringy, who like vehemently is against the messaging, and like totally fucking cooked his ass and totally fucking, like presented a lot of important, productive, like statistics and understanding for the viewers watching, to really understand the messaging behind it and what really sparked the ongoing conversation as of this morning and throughout the day. and I'm seeing a lot of other panels talking about it. So I think that that's good. I think that what Nope said, was trying to say earlier is not being entirely understood. But I also but I also see how it's like, ugh, you know, with everything that we've all listened to and heard today, it's like the last thing we want to hear is like a critique of us rather than them. You know what I mean? And so I think that that's why it's just not being received right now in the way that we can have like an open and honest and like friendly dialogue about it. But I will tell you that Nope is very much on our side, and I just think that it's just the timing of it with everything that we've all fucking had to endure today.
Sorry, clarifying question. When you say on our side, what do you mean by that?
I guess I'm trying to say that like Nope is definitely about the all men until no men. Nope is is actively fighting against or for that narrative.
Yeah. And previous to like the person who was up here before when we first started the panel, I don't think that Nope is like some secret misogynist. That's not the implication I was making. I just think that we've been having this conversation for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So I did want to offer that because I have known them for a very long time, and I don't know, I think it's important that I say that, because I would do that for any of you who I know are always fighting for this, you know, and I think that that's fair. And if I feel like somebody's not, then I'll fucking call them out on it, point blank period. If it's myself, I fucking say it, point blank period, if I fuck up, you know. But I felt like I needed to do that.
And I've also personally, like, Nope, I've heard her make men crash out screaming, boots on their neck type shit. Like, she is about it. Like, I missed whatever happened between her and Sissy. I don't know what happened, but she's definitely that type, because we definitely tag team on a lot of men on lives. Making them crash out and making them lose their fucking minds over this type of topic.
I guess I just don't want us infighting with people that we know are with us. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's fucking direct that energy to the fucking assholes that are actively working against us with this. And so I don't know. What are you guys? Where are you guys? Where are you guys at?
I think we're on a good momentum. I mean, like you said, Jody, we've been debating this and doing lives, I think, over 24 hours on this specifically, right? Mm-hmm. Are we going on 2 days now?
It's like 2 days now, I feel like, to be honest.
So the momentum is like really good. I think we should keep the momentum up. I was just on another live, and they were saying there's not a lot of representation on this movement on social media, right? We have certain people, but it's the same fucking people. I feel like we need to push way more women out there on all age groups who are on our side, and push the message, in my opinion, on all social media platforms, and do it where we can all communicate. We all know we're pushing the same message. We all know what we're doing, because this is a very good message, and I think this could really grow into something that can make a change.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. Let me just bring happening. You're welcome to come back up, just request. Masika, I want to know your thoughts. I haven't heard from you all day. Whoa. Hello.
Hi.
She's so pretty, it's stupid.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Okay, never mind. I changed my
Potato.
mind. Me too.
It's a lot, y'all. I was in and out of the debate last night. Not really paying so much attention. In and out of Brad's live today. I feel like a lot of it, there was a lot of talking past each other.
Yeah.
I feel like the men need to handle the men and the women need to handle the women, because there are a lot of women on this app that don't believe that we should be asking the men to take on that role of explaining. And something CS said earlier today that really stuck out to me was like, I'm fucking tired. Like I'm tired of, she's tired of being the victim, and she's not going to be the teacher taking off the kid gloves, like to men. And then today in Brad's live, there were so many people in the comments, men that are in our circles, that were just saying awful shit in the comments.
Oh yeah.
And that, like, I don't know. Respect is earned. It's not given.
I've done like one or two on this. Like I'm not nearly as active, and I need to be more about it. I just need to find the fucking time. But I mean, realistically, it's exactly that. It is having conversations with men as men, and I mean, also, I mean, therapy is a big fucking one. But having conversations with men and getting them to fucking understand it one way or another. Like, women have been bearing the brunt of the fucking emotional labor when it comes to this stuff forever, for time immemorial.
Who's talking?
And
I don't see anybody up here.
Do I think good men hold other men accountable? Yeah, absolutely. But the thing is, too, with
Is he
that
on this
is
panel right now?
nobody deserves a fucking blue ribbon because they did the bare minimum.
I'm so
Yeah,
confused.
I agree with you.
No,
No,
just
I-
playing
I-
it on
if I
that
could-
was something that drove me crazy last night. Oh, sorry.
The glazing.
Well, yeah,
So
here's-
fucking glazing.
the for me, as far as where men can start is in your own houses, your friends, and calling them out every time, not just when it's too inconvenient. Every time. I mean, it has to start in-house, whether it's your family, whether it's, I mean, even if it's your parents, doesn't matter. If my dad was like that, I'd call him out.
Who is that?
Where'd it go?
That was Stickles.
That's
I don't know
on
who.
Ernest's panel right now, Ernesto, whoever that is.
I know his voice
The
anyway.
things that you say to your friends when it's just you.
Sorry, I was listening to Ernesto's live because some people dropped and went over there.
You've got to start somewhere, and if that, I mean, that is the best place because.
And it's like, I mean, I feel like I feel like I stand by everything I said. I don't think I've done anything wrong here.
No, I mean, from what I've heard, from what I've seen in the comment section, I don't think anybody is saying anything negatively about you, but I haven't been over there since Brad's live ended.
I stopped over there for a few minutes just to see what was going on, and I didn't hear anything bad about any of the women.
I feel like it would be counterintuitive to what he does. So
yes,
it would.
He was talking about the men,
especially like because people that I very much appreciate, Magic and Geeky and Thickles and Kristen are all over there. I feel like they absolutely.